Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I have this really fun, vibrant Christmas card to share with you. So let's jump right in. So to start, we are going to cut down the cardstock. I have a A2 base. That's what I'm going to use for the bottom of the card, the base. And I am going to cut down a piece of black cardstock. This is going to be a matte. I know if you guys are following me for a while, you know this is not a shock because I love to black matte pretty much everything. And then here I'm just showing you how I like to store my cardstock once I've cut it down. I like to buy reams of cardstock and then I trim them into the A2 panels. And then I just kind of keep them in a Ziploc bag so that they're easily accessible. And I have a lot of my cardstock like that. And then I just label it so I know what kind of cardstock is in there. So I just thought that'd be kind of neat to see if you guys were interested in kind of my cut paper storage there. So now we're going to create the background, and this is a piece of HammerMill cardstock that I've cut down to be about a quarter smaller than the base, and then the black matte will be about 1/8 of an inch smaller. And then I am going to use 4 colors of Distress Oxide ink. I started with Salvaged Patina, then I used Kitsch Flamingo. My next color will be Worn Lipstick, and I'm going to finish with Abandoned Coral. Now, the reason that I chose the blue at the bottom, or the tealy color, the blue color, is because I knew that with the stamp set I was going to use, I wanted to put the trees at the bottom. And the trees, you can see through them. The way that they're drawn by the artist leaves room for, you know, if you wanted to have snow or whatever you wanted to have on the background. Well, in this case, I thought it would be really pretty to have this salvaged patina behind the trees. So that's kind of what I was thinking there. And of course, I went pink because I love pink and I love non-traditional Christmas cards and Christmas cards done in like crazy colors. So I just thought that this would be a really fun blend. And honestly, I don't know if I've ever done this specific blend. And now I'm not really aiming for a perfect blend between the colors because they will dry back a little bit, but because your eye is not necessarily going to see the lines of color when we're done, it's going to see the image and have these vibrant, beautiful colors behind it. So I kind of was just having fun with the colors that I chose when I decided to blend this. And I did use some blending foam there, the domed ones, because I find them a lot easier with my blending tool. So for the stamp sets for this, I am going to use the 2021 and 2022 Stamptember by Tim Holtz. The same artist drew both of them, so they go really well together. But I actually got this in the mail. It would be 2 days ago from the day you guys see this posted. But I got this in the mail, and when I saw it, I had to use it. Normally, I would have saved this for my Christmas in July, my 12 weeks of Christmas series that I'm doing right now. But I couldn't resist. I had to use it the minute it came in. So I decided to do it for my Thursday card instead. And then you'll see it again because I love that one image of the Santa Claus on the roof, but I couldn't resist using this stamp. So I had to use it. So I'm going to stamp it down on the bottom portion there, kind of mostly in where the salvage patina is. And I'm going to stamp it twice. You could, stagger the stamp a bit more and get a little more variation in your trees. I didn't do it. You could absolutely do it. I chose to leave it kind of lined up so that it was just quite pretty like this. And then I've got my sticky mat that I'm using in my Misti there. You can see how easy it is now to release the cardstock from it. And I'm just going to show you how easy it was to clean off this ink. So this ink is a water, like it's an ink that, you know, comes off with a little bit of water. So it's not like a stays on or something, but it was super easy to clean. And I just thought that was really neat. So I thought I'd show you that really quick. And then I also have, this is the December die from Simon Says Stamp that Tim Holtz did last year. I'm really hoping he does another one this year just because I love this one. And I was lucky because I actually wasn't going to order one. And one of my good friends that also is a super good crafter, she actually ordered up 2, so she sent me one, so that was incredibly kind of her. But yeah, so I love it. So I'm really hoping he does another one this year that I can partake in. So hopefully for December, that'd be pretty cool. So you see I cut it out 3 times with the same black cardstock I used for my mat, and then I'm going to adhere them together. I brought in my Barely Art glue just because I thought it would be a lot easier because it has such a fine tip to glue all the little bits of like the legs and the antlers on these reindeer, I guess they'd be. I did get glue kind of all over the place. I don't mind that. I just get it on my fingers, and then usually I use like a baby wipe or something to wipe it off of my fingers. But And glue doesn't really, I don't really care about messy fingers. I know that bothers some people, but it doesn't really matter to me. I figured that's like a badge of honor because that means I actually was in my crafty space doing something. But I know some people don't enjoy that. So you could have run this through like the Xyron sticker maker, or alternatively done like double-sided tape. But I like liquid glue, so I generally tend towards it because it gives me a little more wiggle room to kind of move stuff around. So there you go. You see I got the 3 layers lined up. And then this is the Stamptember from 2020. So this is the one this just came in the mail. And I really wanted to use these large snowflakes that was in this set. So I used some acrylic blocks. You could absolutely use the Misti again. I didn't, just because, well, I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't. And so you're going to see that the center of 1 or 2 of them isn't perfectly stamped. Again, I don't really mind. I kind of try to embrace the, imperfect parts of a card, because it's not meant to be perfect. I mean, I'm hand making this to give to, a friend or a loved one, or, somebody who would greatly appreciate just getting the cards. So I don't really worry about perfection so much. I just try really hard to make something that I like and that I think turns out really pretty. So you could put it in a stamping platform of some kind, and then they would probably stamp out better in the center. I wasn't too worried about it, so I didn't. And then I did use the Wow embossing powder. This is the Sparkling Snow. It is stunning. It's like white embossing powder, like a subtle white embossing powder with like flecks of silvery white glitter. It's very, very pretty. Hopefully you can kind of get the idea as I'm sprinkling it on to the card there, but I have to wipe a bit of it off because some of the areas on my trees weren't quite dry. I did try to leave this. I set this aside and went and made another cup of tea while I was waiting for the background, the trees to dry and the oxide to dry, to make sure that I didn't have too much embossing powder sticking where I didn't want it. And that seemed to work out pretty well. There was only a little bit on the trees there that really kind of stuck. But this is stunning. Here, I hope you can see it a little better once I heat emboss it. But you can see that I did miss a little bit of the center of, I think, 1 or 2 of the snowflakes. Not a big deal again, but if that does bother you, I mean, you could have tried restamping it if you wanted to, or use a stamping platform, and then it would have been really easy to restamp it. I didn't really worry about it, but completely up to you as to what you guys want to do. I did also bring in 2 really small snowflake stamps. These are from the Gina K 2022 Stamptember release. They're the only 2 I bought this year. I got the Gina K and the Tim Holtz from this Stamptember, and that's all I purchased that was Stamptember related. So I'm really excited about both of them. They're both stunning, and as you can tell, they're both snowflake-y. Like, they both have snowflakes in them. I'm a sucker for snowflake stamp sets. I just love them so much. They just make me happy. So I'm kind of a really big sucker for them. But they have to almost be like delicately beautiful stamp sets. They can't kind of be like, if they're like a more of a cartoony-esque snowflake, I generally am not drawn towards them. But if they're like a delicate, beautiful snowflake, I'm like a sucker for that. I love them. And then to add a little bit more snow kind of in the background, I brought in some Perfect Pearls. I just keep mixed up in a little mini mister bottle on my desk, and I just splashed a little bit of that on throughout the background. It's a really subtle addition, but I love how it shimmers when you turn it in the light, and that just kind of adds that more, like, these snowflakes are right in front of us and those snowflakes are kind of further back, so it kind of gives you a little bit of perspective as well, which I kind of like. So you'll see them once I hold the card up in the end here. And then for whatever reason, I don't know why, I switched over to my Nuvo Deluxe glue here for this super delicate piece. Don't ask me why, because I honestly have no idea why I didn't just keep using my Barely Art glue, but they both sit in front of me on the desk. And then my husband started calling me. They both sit in front of me on the desk, so I just had to use both, I guess. I don't know why. And then I decided I wanted to decorate the inside a little bit. So I used the same 4 colors of Distress Oxide ink that I used to blend on the background. And then also the same black ink that I used to stamp out the trees in the bottom of the little scene there. I mean, this isn't my best collage around this sentiment, but I think it turned out kind of pretty, and I'm okay with it. So again, I'm not aiming for perfection. Like, again, right there, the center of the stamp kind of skipped a little bit. Not a big deal. I mean, I don't really, especially on the inside, because for the most part, I'm honestly going to write over it. So it really doesn't matter if the stamping's a bit faint. Because I will cover it with writing, and alternatively, if it ends up kind of dark, I would just write over it with a darker pen. So I don't really mind that it's a bit, brighter or whatever. I just write over it. And then I am going to adhere everything down with that Nuvo Deluxe glue just because it has a bigger nozzle and I'm already using it. So I layered everything up with my glue and I'm just going to adhere it down. Now, I'm not going to add any more gems to this, which if you've been with my channel for a minute, you'll know how surprising that is. But I love the shimmer and shine of this. This is also why I didn't put a sentiment on the front. I chose to put a sentiment on the inside instead. And that sentiment came from one of those Tim Holtz sets as well. I think it came from the 2021 set. But the 2022 set also has a lot of really pretty sentiments in it. So either way, you could win with that. But yeah, so then it's all stuck down and looking beautiful. I love how this card turned out. I think it's stunning. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you have any thoughts or comments on how this card kind of came together, I would love to hear it. I'd love if you leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. And till Christmas, I am doing my 12 weeks of Christmas series over on the Monday videos. So thank you so much, guys. I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.